Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Wow. What an interesting morning already. I really have been. If you ever watch these shows like, The Greatest Baker or Master Chef or, I don't know. I don't know if you've seen that Blown Away story where they had to make different like glass objects and things, and they always finish on the second. Well, I came and sat down with 4 seconds to spare this morning. I ran up. It's been quite a morning. It's just been interesting. I don't know if you're interested, but just an insight into my world this morning. So last night I switched off my computer, and this morning when I switched it on at 7:15, it installed updates. Thank you, Bill Gates. I really appreciate you. I can't do without you. And I really got everything set up by like 4 minutes to, and then I rushed up to the kitchen to go get myself some fresh tea, and sat down with 4 seconds to spare. So I could have been in the reality show this morning, and but that's how it goes, and it really keeps it interesting, and it means that I am wide awake. So that's some benefits that comes with all of that. So good morning. Really nice to have you with me on this Saturday morning. I appreciate you being here and for spending your Saturday morning with me. And if you're watching the recording as well, thank you very much. I deeply appreciate it. And I hope that you're going to enjoy today's session. Today's, obviously, if it's just me, it's a little bit of a shorter session. So today I want to talk really about, and I called this initially distractions and fascinations. I mean, how awesome does that sound? Distractions and fascinations. But didn't fit on the thumbnail that nicely. So, I just asked the question, are you distracted? So I want to get into some of the things, and you may have seen, some of the things that I ask in the description for this live stream that, how are you feeling? Do you feel like everybody's ahead of you, that you'll never catch up, that you're not doing the right thing, that even you may question yourself and say, well, am I unethical? All sorts of things that may be going through your head at the moment. And maybe you're just in this financial planning limbo at the moment in your business. So that's what I'm going to talk about today, and also what to do to get out of that. All right. So with all of that said, let me just open all the things that needs to be opened and make sure that I can talk to all of you. Good morning, Peter Lopez over on LinkedIn. Thank you for saying good morning. I appreciate it. And then over on YouTube, good morning, everybody. Nice to have you all with us this morning. And I just thought I really want to pay tribute to some of the people that have, it's been very quiet, but you've been here, every single time. And it seems like my comments are again not working from over on YouTube, but that is cool. So I'm not going to hit refresh because I'm worried that you're not going to be able to see me. But anyway, so there's some people that I just want to play, say, you've been here a lot. And maybe you haven't seen all of the live shows, but you've watched the recordings and you're talking to me and all of that stuff. So I deeply appreciate it. Guys like Terence, you've been amazing. Thank you very much for engaging with me and being part of this community. I really appreciate it. Malcolm and Denise, the two of you as well. Thank you very much for this. Raymond, those are some of the guys that's been around for a long time. Elmin. There's all these names that's just popping up in my head at the moment, just to say thank you. I really appreciate your support and just for engaging with me, as I said, sending me WhatsApps and emails and things like that. It really means a lot to me. Malcolm, you've been cheering us on. I think we're on 388 this morning, so that's good stuff. There's been lots of people on here that's really made a difference, and that's been a serious part of this community and everybody. I mean, if you're watching, just because I can't recall your name right now, just thank you very, very much for doing that. All right, so I quickly want to do like a sort of a recap of the week, because it's been quite an amazing and busy week. And I also just want to share with you what's coming up next week, because next week is just as awesome and busy. So really looking forward to that. Today, my hair is getting cut by my wife. I don't look too bad, actually, I think. But I'm starting to look like a mascot for the Lions rugby team or something. So I think it's time for my wife to cut my sides. We're going to record that, and I'll put it on as a separate video. I'm not going to do it live. Some people suggested that we do it live. but I don't think I'm going to do that because that's going to take too long probably. But anyway, so that's what we're going to do. On Monday, I have Johan Westhuizen back. Johan is the Clifton Strengths coach that I work with and that has had a profound impact on my life and the things that I'm doing. But I asked him to come back because I want to. So we've spoken about quite a few things, in particularly also like the value proposition canvas a few weeks ago, and then this week we also spoke about the business model canvas. But I asked him to come back because he showed something very interesting to me, and he showed to me how you can link that and then your business. I can't recall, but it's called the BP10, but it's like an entrepreneur business profile that they do as well, and how you can link that and your strengths to the business model canvas and the value proposition and all of this stuff, and understand how you use all of these things together. So now that I've spoken about all of this, I thought let me ask Johan if he'll come back, and he graciously agreed. So Johan will be back on Monday at 8 a.m. We're going to be talking about that. So really looking forward to that. On Tuesday, we continue our data series. So we're going to be talking to Rob and Richard again, and we're going to go a bit deeper into the actual data. And so we started off with assumptions and positioning the whole series. So now we're getting more into the more specifics of that. And then on Wednesday, I also have a phenomenal guest. Tanya Kunze is going to be with us. She's a neuroscientist and a coach, and she's into sales and all of that. So really looking forward to her. International speaker. She hosted her own show. A really phenomenal lady. I had a nice chat with her in the week, and really, really excited to have her on the show. And love her personality and everything. So yeah, that's on Wednesday. And then the rest of the week, it'll be it'll be me. So really, again, a busy week that lies ahead. This week, as you know, we had Sandro in the house. So Sandra was here, and it was episode 54. If you missed that, definitely go have a look at it. We had fantastic feedback on Sandra's episode. But and also he did send me yesterday. They did send me everything that was promised. So now it's just for me, we just sort of saying, because you could either email Sandro to get it, or we can give a link. So yeah, for me the easiest is to give you a link, but also I want you to connect with Sandro, so probably give you his email address. So we're just finalizing that, but I'm sitting with the actual documents and everything that he promised. So we'll be making that available definitely by Monday at the very latest. So sorry for the delay in that. There's just been a bit of back and forth about how we do this. But it's almost there. So just to let you know about that. And then yesterday, episode 56, we had Douglas Kruger, which was phenomenal, to just talk to a South African on the show that's also an international speaker. But wow, the wisdom he brought, and just the way that it was just an amazing thing. And I mean, all my guests have been amazing. I'm going to pay tribute to all of them soon. But for me, I don't know why yesterday was also extra special for me, and I think it's just simply because Douglas is also from South Africa, so there was a nice connection, and he really brought a lot of value. So go check that out if you missed that, and you can also get his latest book, Virus Proof Your Small Business. And there's a lot of things. I see some people make comments to say that that session was actually applicable to all business owners and not only financial advisors. And there's a big lesson in that. And I think, we also and I know it's like that, when you see something where this is for business owners and this is for financial planners or professionals or financial planning practices or financial services, you would want to go to what is most applicable to you. But I think the mistake that we make and the opportunity that we lose is learning from other businesses and other industries and how they are doing it. And I've spoken about this quite a number of times. So don't lose out on that opportunity, So the same with this. There's a lot of people that can learn a lot from the way that we do things. So you've got business owner clients and they want to watch, or you want to send some of the episodes to them, excuse me, then you're more than welcome to do that. There's absolutely no problem with that. And so we need to be open to learn from others and not just look at how we are doing it, because that's when we get stuck in the way we do it. And sort of that is also part of what led me to today's topic and what I want to talk about today. All right, so I just want to make sure. Yeah, I see guys. Sorry, my comments are not coming up on the screen, and for that reason, I can't respond to you at the moment on YouTube. I'm very, very sorry for that. But I will get back to you later on. I will go check that out. And so let me get into today and what it really is that I want to talk about. Before I do that, Please remember to subscribe. We're almost at 400 subscribers on YouTube. So that's our next goal. We're 12 away. So thank you very much for your support. And if you are subscribing, and if you decide right now to subscribe, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. And I promise to bring you only the best value that we possibly can through either the content that I do or the guests that we bring onto the show. So thank you very much in advance for that. If you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, please, you're welcome to do so. My connections have really jumped in this week. Thanks to all the guests that we had and people getting to see what it is we do. Please give us some love. Remember to like, share, and do that, all that good stuff to the video. I really appreciate it. And then engage. You know, it's unfortunately on YouTube, I can't respond, but at least you can respond to one another there. And but with that, all right. So with that, let me get into this whole thing. And as I said, I asked a lot of questions in the beginning, you know, or in the description of this video. You can go check it out if you missed that. But really, what I think what's happening, and something that I'm and it's not only like, I call it financial planning limbo because it's focused on financial professionals, you know, and it doesn't mean like, are you in limbo with your financial planning? I just mean in your business with what you are doing and what you're delivering, the value that you're creating. You know, do you feel like you're in limbo? In other words, you don't know, are you going forwards or backwards, left or right? Should you do this? Should you do that? You know, I don't know if you feel like that. And that, like, because the thing is, it's this entire question all the time is like, must I evolve, you know? Or this thing like, hey, I must evolve. Things are changing, things are moving, and they're moving fast, and they're leaving me behind. And now, like, oh, I don't know where to start. I feel like that a lot of the time. You know, it's like, oh, I'm busy with this, and then I see, oh, people are doing that, and I'm like, oh my goodness, am I in this? I don't know. Do you feel like that? You know, often, and just feel like, whoa, there's people like, you know, you can't use the word broker anymore. That's a swear word, you know, for some. And on the other hand, it's like these people that have put themselves on a pedestal to say, well, this is the only way to do things, you know, but does it mean that what you're doing is wrong? And does it mean what I'm doing is wrong? And that's sort of the question that I want to ask, because if we're wrong, then we must change and we must evolve. You know, if the answer is no, I'm doing what's right for me and my clients, then probably the answer is no. And there's this thing about that you start to doubt yourself. And doubt is a very, very dangerous, bad thing, in my opinion. Because when you doubt yourself and you don't do anything about it to sort this doubt out, then you get into this whole limbo situation where you're like, oh, you just do nothing. You just sit there and waiting for the train that's coming to run you over. Whereas it's good to question yourself. There's a massive difference between doubting yourself and questioning yourself. And I think it's good. We must question what we're doing all the time. It's something that I've mentioned a lot of times. And it's something that I say in all my training sessions and in all my engagements with people and with advisors and so forth. I say, it's my job to challenge what you're doing, because I need to make you question the things that you're doing. And if you question yourself, it doesn't mean that you doubt yourself. It just says that, okay, so we've been doing this and this and this. Is this still relevant? Is this still the right thing to do? You know, is there something else I can do to bring more value to my clients? So for me, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, you know, you're going to go through all these things saying, oh, am I unethical? Because now I thought I've been doing the right thing, and now I'm learning from these other people that, whoa, I'm being unethical. You know, basically is sort of the message. You know, that's one question. Or now, am I a salesman? Oh, I don't want to be seen as a salesman. You know, and we've spoken about selling. Like we sell all the time. Doesn't matter what you do. Even if you go all the way and you say, now I'm a coach, because now suddenly everybody's coaches. Okay. So now I become a financial coach. So you need to sell the fact that you are a financial coach. So yes, you are a salesman. So don't doubt that. Don't get into a position where you feel like, I'm not too sure. And then the big thing is, am I doing wrong by my client? I think that's a very important and critical question. You need to ask that question. You need to question that. Am I doing right by my client? Is this what they want? Is this what they need? And remember, we said that client wants will always be greater than their needs. So we know what they need, but at the end of the day, it may not be what they want. So it's to sort of over time educate them about their needs and make them want that a bit more. But it'll always be their wants will always trump their needs. It's like, you remember that ad from Nedbank, Eugene, do you want it or do you need it? When he wanted to buy the shoes and the jacket and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, so those are some of the things that I'm just wondering about. is all of this causing us to go into this financial planning limbo in our businesses? In other words, or just maybe in our that maybe should have said financial planning business limbo, because we don't know where to go. And I think there are some things that are distractions, and then there are some things that we get fascinated with and romanticize about, and these things are causing us to not do the right things, or not, we're so worried about what others are doing and where they are going, that we lose the plot. And initially, and I know this is sort of a very, maybe this is going to be a very controversial topic, and I thought about this quite a lot. So yesterday when I wrote down everything that I want to talk about, I'm thinking like, I'm going to step on some toes, but I need to ask the questions. If I'm not going to ask the questions, I'm not saying that I have the answers, or that this is the way it is, or that it shouldn't be, or that you should ignore what's happening. Definitely not, because that's how we evolve. We evolve when we learn about new things, and we say, we must always ask that, is there a better way of doing this? My biggest problem with what's going on at the moment is that, you're being told that if you don't do this, then, you shouldn't be doing what you're doing. And I don't agree with that entirely. There are different clients who's looking for different things. And the question is, are you delivering to those clients? And the clients that don't want, if they want something else than what you're delivering, they will go somewhere else. So the question is, like, if you don't want them to go somewhere else, then yes, change your business and change the way that you do things. So it's something that I'm getting very, very passionate about, and I can hear the dogs in the background as well. Thank you for letting them out, house. But anyway, so let me talk a little bit about distractions. And, I think one of the very first things is that we're so concerned with what others are doing, that our competitors. And we said competitors. And in my mind, there is no competitors. I have lots of discussions with people in different kinds of businesses, not only financial planning businesses, and they're so on a roll, and they get going, and they feel positive, and then someone else comes out with something that's similar, or there's somebody that does something that they didn't think about, and then they get all derailed, saying, oh, no, you see, now there we go. Now there's my opportunity gone. No, forget about the competition. Initially, if you look at my list of topics, this thing was called the competition versus your focus. That is really what I wrote down when I put this onto the list of topics that I wanted to talk about. And that's what it's about. It's not about your competition. Yeah, you're not going to know what they do and all that kind of stuff. But the problem is, that's what they want. At the end of the day, you are so consumed with what it is that your competitors are doing that you don't get to do what you do so uniquely and so passionately and so fantastically. If you weren't that great or that unique or that perfect for your clients, you wouldn't have any clients. So be very aware to get fixated on your competitors and what the competition is doing and all that kind of stuff. And on the other hand, I mean, those are distractions because it's what they do. I can't control what they do. I can only control what I do. But now because I'm so focused on them, I'm doing nothing. I'm just like, oh, they're taking everything away from me. And that's what you don't want to do. Then also your environment can also be very distracting. And we spoke about this yesterday. I think I spoke to somebody about this. Was it with Douglas? I'm not sure, but I have so many conversations. But your environment is so important. It should be nice where you work. It should, you must make it nice for yourself. So your environment itself can be distracting. If there's people in your environment that, whether it's in your close environment or just in your general environment within your family, your circle of friends or whatever, they can be very distracting. And we need to identify these things and then have a strategy of how to get around it. Because it's not necessarily that you have to tell them, listen, I'm not friends with you anymore, or I'm not family with you anymore. It's not about that. But we definitely need to look at the environment, because the environment definitely has can easily distract us from what it is that we're supposed to be doing. If you're always reaching for something and you need to get up all the time and do things, yes, it's great for exercise, but at the end of the day, it's every time it's just distracting you and then disrupting what your flow and what it is that you are doing. And our fears, and I think the biggest of this is now the fear of missing out, particularly now. And I know people are like information overloaded, and they are digitally fatigued, and they are, I don't know, all these wonderful words that's now being invented because of the experiences that we have at the moment. But it's this fear of missing out. So you're so busy on the one hand with just consuming everything, that you're not doing anything because you're still looking for that one thing that's going to make a difference in your life. The one thing, like if there's just this one little nugget that I'm going to hear and everything's going to click and it's going to change. That's what you're looking at. That is what why you're doing this. The fear of missing out. You attend every single event because I must know and I must be able to relay this to my client. Do you need to attend like every single session on the economy and every single session on portfolio performance and every single session about? No, definitely not. Be confident in what you have and decide, which are your preferred sort of channels where you want to get your information, that you can trust the information, and that they, maybe in terms of investments, they have a philosophy that they stick to and they don't chop and change as everything changes. There's a philosophy there that's been proven over time. Stick to those guys. Maybe I have two if you're not comfortable with only having one, because we also need opposing views. You want to hear what the one side says and what the complete opposite is saying. And then you make up your own mind. And we've spoken about this in some other episodes before. So yeah, there's this fear of missing out. And then on the other hand, it's just this fear that what you have is going to be taken away from you. And how bad is that? And I feel that often, that you're busy with something and you go like, oh, I'm going to lose it all. What if people don't come back? Every time I have a session, I feel like, what if it wasn't good enough? What if they don't come back? And it doesn't matter, even if you come back every single time, there's still that feeling. And you got to recognize that and then say, no, it's good. It's you're there, but stay in your closet, like stay there in the corner. And I'm not going to let you out. But these are the kind of things that's really holding us back. And that's causing us not to do the things that we should be doing. So we rather focus on those things, and the anxiety and the feelings that generate. It's just overwhelming for many of us. But we need to recognize that and say, well, the best way to do this is to just run right through it. Technology as well is a big distraction. And not only from I need to learn this, because a lot of people get so fixated on, so they have this idea of what they want to do. They sort of maybe even come up with a little process, but now they want to implement technology to make this easier. And now what happens is that there's this many, I'm on the screen, there's this many options. There's just let's say there's 10 options. And now you want to look at every single one in detail and make sure that this is the one, I've chosen the best one. Be very aware of that. And then also obviously then digital consumption of content and that, it's cool. Let Apple Music play in the background and listen to all the music you want while you're working, no problem at all. But you can't be working and have YouTube on here or have a podcast on while you are working. It doesn't work, because those are kind of things that you're going to be, it's just, we're naturally drawn to that. We want to look at it. We want to consume it. And you need to listen. It's not something that can just arbitrarily play in the background. We need to hear what's going on, and we need to see what's going on. So that's distracting us from the things that we should be doing. And I'll get to what those things are. And compliance as well. I think compliance is a huge distractor for many of us, because some of us are just very rules-based, and it must be right, and everything must be there, and it must be perfect, and it must be, and then there's the other side where compliance, so I'm here to do business, and you do business and you never do the compliance, but the compliance then comes and sit here in the back of your mind, and you go like, oh crap, if the soft tropical fruit hits the fan, the pawpaw, then it's going to be a problem. And so that sits there, and it is distracting, because now it takes your focus away again from what it is that you should be doing. So those are the things: your competitors, your environment, your fears, technology, and then compliance. Those are some of the big distractions. And obviously, you can share with me in the chats, what else do you think there is, and what are you challenged with, and that kind of thing. I will go back and look at the comments and be in touch with you, because I can't do it live right here, but definitely. So then sort of the next part, I think, and this is something where Dr. Brian Jude, I don't know if you ever Sell, Don't Tell is one of the books that he wrote. And it's also one of those things. I think I was introduced to that in 2005. And I remember there's one particular thing where, because I think I was so guilty of it, and he calls it beautiful people. It's one of the distractions that you have. And with that, what it means is that it's not literally, it could be literally beautiful people, but it is what it really means is that it's those people that you can go and, you can just chat to them for hours about nothing. They're just easy. They never give you grief. It's just nice, but they are never going to buy from you. They are never going to help you. They are never going to let you offer them whatever, but it is just so nice to drink coffee with them and spend time with them. And he just related that just to beautiful people. It's nice to look at them. It's nice to be around them, that kind of stuff usually. But there's nothing ever going to come of it. So you're wasting your time and your effort. And this is sort of what I want to link to fascination, where we romanticize about certain things, or we have these ideals that we think this is how it should be, and this is how I'm going to change it because I've been taught this way, and then I'm going to just flip the switch, whoop, like that, and then everything's going to change. And that is the biggest biggest problem that we've got. And then you sort of battle to get there, and then you give up at some stage, or you say, is this even worth it? Is this worth my effort? Is it really what I should be doing? This is nonsense. This doesn't work. And that's not necessarily the case. So we can become so fascinated with new ideas and approaches. There's so many things going on. I mean, it's lifestyle financial planning, and it is coaching, and it is, I don't know what else. It's robo advice, and it is, I don't know. There's all these things that, like there's new ideas, and they're all awesome. They're all awesome. But what happens is we put those things on a pedestal, and we say like this is the only way. Charging fees. It's like, it's again this message going out from the small group of people saying that, if you don't charge fees, that's unfair and unjust towards the client. Then there's a conflict of interest because you're earning commission. No, there's a conflict of interest if your behavior supports that conflict of interest. That's it. Okay. For me, it's still, if you look at the client is at the center of what you do. You deeply understand the client, and you are able to advise and recommend the right things to them, whether it's products or not. It doesn't matter. It's in your behavior. It is the focus. It is your intent. Those are the things that matters. It definitely doesn't. I feel like a preacher this morning. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter at all. One thing is not better than the other. It's like, which one is appropriate for the specific client? And then you can go and say, well, if that is great, if you believe that that lifestyle financial planning is the thing for you and that your clients need, because that's very important. What is it that your clients want and need? Then you need to learn that, and you need to evolve and adapt to that. The same with coaching. Coaching is not for everybody. It is not for everybody. Otherwise, everybody would be coaches out there, and we would have no athletes. Okay, some people are athletes and some people are coaches. So that's just, you need to decide where you're going to play. Is coaching extremely valuable? Absolutely. Does it make a real difference, and does it have a real impact? Oh, absolutely. But I also think the problem that we've got is that we're thinking about like this new thing needs to replace the old thing. And that's a huge mistake. The new thing must build upon the old thing. We're not saying, oh, we don't do that anymore. This should be added to the way that we do things. This should be added to the way that we engage. This should be added to the value that we bring. Then it becomes more valuable. It's not a case of, oh, don't do this anymore, and don't. Okay, you need to go through everything that you're doing and say, whoa, this is maybe not so great for the client, so I'm going to cut this. But here's the thing again, you're not able to just flick a switch and just switch it off and start doing the new thing. You need to have a plan of how you're going to phase out the things that you were doing over time. Okay, because if you just close the tap on the one thing and then maybe you open the tap on the other thing and there's nothing coming out because the pipes are not yet connected. So that's the way that I believe that we should be looking at this. Then also some people get so like, it's always the latest and greatest products. Okay, so whenever somebody comes out with a new thing, or like, wow, that's the only thing. And you spend a lot of time getting to know that product very well, how to position it, how to recommend it, who it's for, all of that stuff. And then it's just this product. And then tomorrow, while you're still busy with this one, the other competitor or the other product provider is launching a new product, and now it's that product. So it's this Dory syndrome of like, ooh, see that, ooh, see that. And that's what we're doing. And we don't want to be doing that. So that's definitely this fascination with like, it's always about the best product and the latest and the greatest, and the more bells and whistles, the better. And you've heard this a million times before, but it is still an issue. And then also our ideal world, this thing that we see as our ideal world. We have this dream picture of this castle, this castle built in the clouds of this is how it should be. And because nobody's doing it like that, and I believe that everybody's wrong, I'm going to do it this way. And then it doesn't work. Because there's a reason why it's not working. It doesn't say that it won't work ever in the future. But the problem is we try and flick the switch and switch all of this off the way that it's been working for so many years, and then just start this new thing. Instead of saying, how do I progress and how do I take my clients on this journey with me so that they can evolve with me and we can move towards this. It's called your vision. And your vision can be whatever it is that you want it to be. And also, here's the other thing. You are the only person that can see your vision in the way that you do it. So it's going to be a job for you to get everybody else to go with you on this journey. Okay, but for those people who's not, I wish we can stop this whole thing about like, this is the only way to do it. This is the new way. And then all of that stuff is now bad for whatever reasons. Just focus on the way you see the world. People that see it the same way as you and that will see the value will come with you on that journey. So do that. Then also this whole thing about what is right and what is wrong. I think we get so, and it's important, don't get me wrong, morals and knowing what's right and wrong is very, very important. But sometimes we get so fixated on that, that it also leaves us in limbo and that we're not able to move forward. And then also our processes. Sometimes we get so into exact every single little step. Instead of seeing how we can make the steps less to make this thing flow faster and better, we just want to add and add and add and just make this thing more complex because we just don't want to drop the porridge on the floor. And that is a literal translation from some Afrikaans thing, I think, from my time in the Free State. I can't remember. But that's the thing. Yeah. So, we get so fascinated with our processes and just everything that we don't get to do the things that are really bringing in income. So what is it then about? Okay. And for me, it is a matter of focus. I have spoken about focus before. But, so let me talk about some different things in terms of focus that I believe that you should be focusing on if you feel that you are distracted and that you feel like, oh, am I doing that? Like you just feel that you're in limbo. What can you do? Well, you need to start focusing on what it is that your clients want and need. What do they want? Talk to them. Ask them, what is it that you want? Where are you? What is it that you need? What is important to you? What do you expect from me? It's an extremely good place to start for any business, is to really understand that. And then also important, and again, it goes to my very first habit in my webinar about the 7 powerful habits to build a legendary practice, is that you need to focus on the things that generate income first. Focus on those things. If you just make a list of everything that you do, you personally in your business, okay, right now during this lockdown period, but also in general, you can maybe have 2 lists. What did you used to do before lockdown, and what are you doing now during lockdown? And if it's the same, it's fine. But go look at everything that you're doing, every single thing that you spend time on, and then you just go mark them once you've written them down. Just mark them with a little, I don't know, a koliki or something, and just say, this is income generating. But I mean, the activity must directly link, not indirectly, because issuing invoices are definitely important. If I don't issue an invoice, you're not going to pay me. So then I'm not going to earn the income, but it's not the activity that led to the income. You need to focus on what are the activities that lead to the income, not the administration that needs to go around that to make it happen. So compliance, extremely important, but it doesn't generate income. Invoices, accounting, it doesn't generate income, but it is extremely important. But you need to make that distinction between what is generating income and what not. And if you're the person who's responsible for generating income, then those are the things that you should be focusing on, regardless of the circumstances that we find ourselves in. The other things that is then left, you need to make a plan with and say, okay, so I either need to schedule this better in my diary so that it doesn't disrupt and distract me, or you need to outsource that to someone, or you need to delegate that to staff if you've got staff. But you've got to now be more focused on what you spend your time and your effort on more than ever before. Then also this whole thing about, creating value versus how you get paid for it. If you create value, I don't know, in my mind, I don't think the client mind how they pay for it, whether you're earning commission or whether you're charging fees or whatever. It's about that. I'll be sort of curious, and don't get me wrong, I'm very, very pro fees. I mean, my business for the last year, before I sold my practice was absolutely fee-based. Okay, I had an extremely small assets under management. I made more money from charging people financial planning fees than anything else in my business. But so I'm very pro that. But I also learned over time that it's not about, because I built my whole, what distinguishes me from the next guy was the fact that I charged fees. But did I do anything different? Did whatever I do, did it have a different impact on my client? Some people love the fact that it was just now fees and there's no products involved or anything. They just wanted to know what is going on. And that's where I learned it's about that they want their questions answered. They want peace of mind. That's what they want. But other clients say, listen, I just need life cover. Just give me life cover. So it's sort of understanding where the client is and what they want, and over time doing the things that you want to do. But focus on creating value, not on the way you get paid for it. And then what works for you and what works for your client, I think, is also very important. There's certain things that you are comfortable with. And as I said, if you recognize that you need to evolve and then you need to change your business over time, that's great, do that. But have a plan, have a strategy, have a journey to accomplish that. Don't think you're going to sit on a Saturday morning and write down a whole plan, and on Monday morning you switch off the one and switch on the other one, because it's not going to work. You need to have a plan of how you're going to get there. So important. And I mean, people who's just starting out now, I mean, what a privilege they have to build a business the way that they can learn from a lot of people around them and say, no, I want to do it this way, not that way. I think that's such a valuable place to be in. But unfortunately, most people get in like the old way. And it's, again, I'm not saying the old way is wrong, but it is what is working for you, what's working for you. You need to recognize where you are and what the opportunities are right now. And then please stop ignoring what others are doing. Don't focus so much on what your competition is doing or what the people in the media are saying. Take note of it and say, how does it apply to me and that? But don't get so focused on that it derails your business entirely. Focus on what you are doing and where you want to go. So if you decide that, listen, coaching is the route that I want to do because I love the whole coaching idea behind it, I can see the value it brings to the client and that kind of stuff, then go and do that. Make sure that you get qualified. Make sure that you understand the process. Start practicing with some of your clients. Also recognize that not all your clients at this point in time will be open to coaching or would actually even need coaching. But you need to have a plan and say, like, so how am I get myself? Because coaching is not about learning to coach, like from the books. You can do your qualification and your certifications and all of that kind of stuff. You only really learn once you start spending time with people and you actually start coaching. And then who's there to help you through that process to be able to say, well, next time do this differently, next time do that, look at this, or somebody that you can check in with to say, whoa, I've had this situation, I didn't know how to deal with it. But that's on the one hand, how you maybe want to go about that part. If you want to say, listen, I just want to focus on financial planning, or I just want to focus on estate planning, or I just want to focus on, whatever, supporting advisors or whatever it may be, then start doing that and start focusing and move your business in that direction. Okay. But focus on what will work for you, what you like to do, and where you see your business going. All right. And then also do the right thing. Always, 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 always. The thing is, I can't teach you to be ethical. Nobody can teach you to be ethical. You can't teach ethics in my mind. Okay. The thing is, yes, you can be made aware about what's right and what's wrong, because maybe the way that we were brought up, that wasn't made clear to us. And something that's wrong to me is completely right to you, because we've got different points of view. And who's to say who's right and who's wrong? But there are certain morals of what is right and wrong, like you don't steal. It's clear. You don't steal. So we know what's right and what's wrong. When there's regulations and there's law, it's clear, well, mostly, that, what is right and what is wrong. But if you always come from the right place and you always try and put the other person's needs before your own, and you would do like, if you always say like, would I do this for my mother? Yes, I would. Then go ahead and do it. If you don't like your mother, don't use your mother as an example, but then use somebody that you deeply love and say, well, would I do this for them? And then if that works, then go for it. If that says, no, not really, then, don't do it. All right. So yeah, as I said, unfortunately, I can't view the comments. I'm so sad. But yeah, I will definitely go check them out. I see there's been a lot of comments over on there. Let me just quickly see. Um, Cool stuff. Kenny, good morning, Kenny. Kenny and I recently connected. Thank you very much, Kenny. Some good ideas here. I started my practice a year ago after 30 years as a product supplier, trying to setting it up properly using the best practices. That's awesome, Kenny. I mean, as I said before, it's a real privilege if you're able to design it from scratch. And when you come into this sort of world with previous knowledge that you know, oh, that worked for you, this doesn't work for you. It's a vastly different sort of position if you are already in the business and the business is running. You can't turn a ship 180 just by spinning the wheel. It's not going to work. So there's got to be a process. But if you are starting from scratch, or if you just getting into this into this profession, there's definitely a lot that one can do to try and set yourself up from the beginnings for that to be correct. So yeah, so good stuff. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, that is my Saturday morning session. As I said, I feel like a preacher this morning. I really got into it, really passionate about this, and I believe in like I've worked with so many advisors before, and I have yet to come across somebody that I directly worked with. You always hear these horror stories about people who did things. And I swear, sometimes I think that even they didn't know, and maybe people will differ from me. But I've also had experiences where people were so like, but they're right. And it's because there was maybe knowledge that they didn't have, or, some information that they didn't take into account. But they look at it and they think, wow, this is awesome. And the whole intention was to help. And then, if I can help my client, then I get help. I swear some people look at it that way, and that's great. It's not to say that one is wrong and the other one is completely right, but we know where that line is. And for me, it's just, focus on what it is that you want to do. Build the business of your dreams. Build the business that you want to do. Yes, take note of what's going on around you. Investigate it, but don't get fixated on it. Don't romanticize about something, because sometimes we have this idea, but it doesn't say that the business model is going to work. So on that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. I'll be back on Monday morning with Johan Westhuizen. Thank you very much for all the engagement, for everybody that was here today. I deeply appreciate you. So thank you very, very much. And thank you for everything you do for me and that you help me with. It means a lot to me. So thank you very much. And I will see you back on Monday morning. Cheers.